Hello, blessings. Welcome. Welcome. It is me, Candace. This channel is called Love Wins. Love is a frequency. Love is a vibration. Love is your source. And when you are in that frequency, you win. Today, no cards, no sage, although I've been burning all morning. I want to talk about truth. I want to talk about my truth. No deadline. I am not in a rush. Truth. My truth. There are layers and layers and layers to the truth. As you embark on the process of waking up, enlightenment, ascension, coming home, spiritual journey, whatever you want to call it, there are layers to this. The level I am at right now of unmasking the layers, there's no going back. There's no going back. And I feel peace with that. I feel good. I feel very high vibrational. And I've had a lot of deep insights. Over the past 72 hours, I have been fasting. I have been going through, my ear just started ringing as I said that, a coconut fast. And it's supposed to be with pure coconuts, but I'm in Bangkok, Michigan, and the supply of coconuts isn't as abundant as I would like. So I am drinking coconut in a cardboard box. The desire to be where coconuts grow is stronger than ever. I feel like even with what I've wanted out of life, I've been so misled because I've been so distorted, because I've been so programmed, because I've been so manipulated. Since birth, manipulated. And if this resonates with you, if I'm speaking truth to you, then this message is for you, and you are where I am, or maybe coming to where I am. We have been manipulated, fucked, literally fucked by the system, by our parents, by our teachers, by our family, by our loved ones, by our relationships, and for some of us, even by our own children. And you have to go within and take accountability when you start the process of peeling back the layers and understanding your karma and how you are creating this karma. And it's a mind fuck. How did I create all of this? Right? And I'm going to break this down in this space with my truth. Manipulation. I grew up pretty in between poor and middle class. Not quite middle class enough to have some of the luxuries that my friends had, but not quite poor where I was starving. My mother worked very hard to keep food on the table. She was most of my life in a very toxic relationship with my stepfather. And my father was pretty absent. We would go to him for weekends and summers, but he was, like, as far as the duties of a father, he's, pretty absent. And I understand my parents have their own karmas, and they did the best they could do with what they had and what they knew, and being unhealed versions of adults were parenting from that space. So I've gone through the forgiving process, forgiveness in that space for that. But when my mother left my stepdad, I was young, teenager, preteen, young teenager, and I started seeking love, to be loved, to feel wanted, to feel worthy. And I went down a path of having no boundaries, and now doing inner child healing, understanding that those boundaries came from the manipulations of parenting, being told to hug someone even though they make me feel uncomfortable, but you should hug them anyways because of everything they do for you. Or I don't know, you know what? That's a tangent for later. I was seeking love, and I allowed myself to be used and abused by anyone and everyone. And then I found this girl who taught me how to take my power back, to be an entertainer, a stripper, a dancer, because I could make enough money by teasing the same people who I was giving my body to away for free to do something for myself, to make a life for myself. And I went down that path. And that path led me to another family. And in this family, I found a home that wasn't like my home. Everyone was putting in. We were all working, we were all putting in, we were all building. And I had learned how to make so much money, like ridiculous amounts of money, like this. It's just coming to me so fast. Because I was beautiful. Because my naked body was beautiful. Because my mind was intellectual and I could carry a conversation with anybody about anything. Because I was a super empath. And when people were coming to me hurt, sad, angry, my energy made them feel good. And the people that I lived with, the people I was working for, were getting more power because there were multiple women harnessing their sexual power to create a lifestyle outside of the system. Sex magic. I didn't even understand the sex magic. I was unawakened. I just knew I wasn't poor anymore. I just knew I had the power to say no. But there were so many layers. And I left that life. And I got married. And he was abusive. He was narcissistic. Mentally, verbally, emotionally abusive. Not physically. Mind games. I was responsible for his sex drive. And if I didn't sexually satisfy him, there were threats of other people. And in the end, there were other people. And that left a heartbreak. And I had to heal that. And I had to heal that while being a young mother and raise my children. And I went through that process. And I jumped on the self-love bandwagon. And I started healing myself. And the self-love bandwagon brought me back to the same industry I left. I left for love because I needed to provide for my children. I needed strength. And it was all I knew. I had already went down the path of teaching yoga, and I had this spiritual practice, and I felt like I could go back into this world. I felt like I could go back into this world, and I was strong enough. I knew I was strong enough. And I still had no idea of the energy being siphoned from me. No idea. And then I quit again. And I had 2 more babies. And I was building something for myself. And here comes love again. And this love believed in that industry that I had left. Believed in the empowerment. Believed you do whatever it takes to feed your family, to rise above by any means necessary. And I began to become angry. I got distracted. I believed I was getting angry because all of the spiritual work, all of the self-work, everything I had brought into my physical reality was not in alignment with the reality I was living, and it didn't line up. I knew this wasn't love. I knew love didn't feel this way. I knew I could not love myself if I was allowing these things to happen to me. After everything I've been through, I felt like this isn't right. I felt like it wasn't right. And I stayed anyways, for many reasons, personal reasons we don't need to get into. When I left this time, I made a vow to my soul. I will say to God, but we're going to get into that topic because that segues. I'm segueing into that topic. Just show me the truth. I need the truth. I will never, ever, ever, ever again sell my soul or my body, but my soul. That I only wish to live in truth. I'm only here to serve as my mission. And if I had to go through all of this darkness to see all of these realities, to experience these pains and these traumas and these karmas, if all of it was for a reason, I want to know that reason. And I find myself at my mother's house with my toxic family, feeling I want to go back to the coconuts. I just want to live where coconuts grow. As simple as that sounds. And it's like a test. But God doesn't really actually test you. That's an illusion too. That's a manipulation. You just have to be ready to receive what is yours. And until you're ready, the karma that you incur is yours. Because you're not receiving. Because you're still manipulated. Because you're still a slave to the matrix, the dark matrix, the entities that you're born into. We're not born into families. We're born into entities. To know thyself is to know God. The only way to know God is to know thyself. The manipulation goes so deep that they give you all of these beliefs. They give you a God to believe in. The organized religions give you a God to worship, to pray to. This God is not real. There is a Most High. It exists within you. But the God that the religion gives you is not a real God. And some of the darkest, evilest organizations are the churches. And they fund the schools. And they fund the medical and the pharmaceutical industry. And you send your kids to school. And you buy your medicines. And you eat their food. And you are a slave. You're a slave. And if this truth triggers you, good. Because a trigger is a resonating energy. I am speaking truth. You've been manipulated since birth. Back to the church. There is a Messiah in every bloodline. Okay? There is a chosen one who doesn't believe all the bullshit, who feels differently, doesn't know why they feel differently, who goes against everyone else's belief systems, doesn't buy into the bullshits. Now, I'm not going to get into whether Jesus existed or didn't exist, but let's say he existed. Jesus was that Messiah in that bloodline who walked and talked the truth. Because if you follow the words of Jesus, the way of Jesus, he speaks truth. Okay? We are all children of God. There is not one child of God. Jesus is not the one child of God. Man wrote the Bible. The church wrote the Bible. They took the truths, the universal truths on dark and light that exist, that energy, the frequency, vibration that truly exists. Where's this bee? This bee's out here cheering me on. The truth of the dark and light that exists. And they give you this book. And they paint a picture that they are the good guys. And they demonize everything that is natural. Are you getting this? Are you hearing what I'm saying? They gave you a God that you pray to, that you give your power away to. And then they tell you that everything natural that will cause you to call your power back, they demonize. This is a multi-dimensional existence, okay? Earth people are not the only existence. We're not the only beings. There's all kinds of beings. There's dark beings, there's light beings. Most of us living right now are hybrids of all of these different beings because of genetic manipulation. But Mother Earth herself, Mother Gaia, is a womb. And in this womb, we are her children. And Mother Gaia had sent out the call for help because the dark entities enslaving her people. She's had enough. So the whole 144,000 light workers, these are light beings, these are people who come with light codes, light in their hearts, that their whole purpose is to remember the light, the frequency, the vibration of home. To be that, to come into that and to be that. As we raise our frequency, she raises her frequency. And you co-create, because life is meant to be abundant. It is not what they want you to believe it is. So I'm sitting with my shadow during this fast, and I'm sitting with things that I have been pondering but not speaking on for a while. And here comes a download, and it's about sacrifice. And the download comes synchronously the same time one of my favorite earth goddesses posted a video about sacrifice. And she says it's time to speak your truth about how you've been sacrificed. So you remember I talk about there's a Messiah in every bloodline, right? And Jesus was a Messiah. And what did the people do? They turned against him, his family. They sacrificed him. They killed him. He had a Judas in his fucking entourage. And you know I'm speaking truth, because if you feel in your heart, you know you were chosen, because that light lives in you. That rebellious wild spirit, that earth spirit lives in you. The sacrifice is deeper than you could ever imagine. The chosen ones are always sacrificed, and we don't even understand the sacrifice. Every family has organizations that they pay tithes to. Follow the money. I have an eagle flying above me. Follow the money, follow the corruption. For my grandmother, it was the Red Hats in the Catholic Church. She would pay her tithes to these organizations. Yet her family were suffering all of these karmic trials and tribulations. Why is it that every time you rise in frequency, life tries to pull your frequency down? Dark magic attached to the matrix. Dark magic. And every time someone in your family pays money to the church, a spiritual attack happens to a chosen one. Sit with that, because the pastors are manipulated. The followers are manipulated. You are on the wrong side of the line, and you're giving your power away for the light. But what's really happening is the dark entities are siphoning your power. You have to call your power back. Or not. Stay sheeple. Stay naive. Stay a slave. Put your kids in school. Keep drinking the fluoride. Keep brushing your teeth with fluoride. Keep eating the poison foods, the packaged, processed, toxic foods. That's okay. If you want that, go for it. But stop coming at people who choose life. Because we're not taking the gaslighting anymore. My whole life in the sex industry was because I was psychologically manipulated to believe that that was better for me. So my energy could be harvested. So I wouldn't come into my power. But know thyself and know God. No weapon forged by man can touch a chosen one. This is a spiritual war. And I'm done fighting. When you stand in your power, there is no fights. There's no fights. There's just realignment. Home. Heaven on Mother Earth. It is my duty to raise my frequency. It is my duty to call my power back. It is my duty to protect the earth because she protects me. And God is a woman, by the way. And I love saying that because I always felt that. And I used to get triggered going to church. I felt like church wasn't right. And people thought I was crazy because I didn't feel comfortable with it. And I always felt hypocrisy when people preached the Bible. I didn't understand. So I started reading the Bible and studying the scripture and multiple books, the Book of Enoch and the Chronicles of Mary Magdalene, and I got an edition of the Torah, and I'm just going deeper into these truths. And there are truths. They are truths. But you have to have discernment. Because the story is written. So you give your power to the entity. So take the knowledge and the wisdom that you have acquired and sit with it. Sit with it and go within and be present, because everything is a vibration. Everything is a vibration. The sun, where is it? The sun, I love this ray coming in. There's so many rainbow spectrums in this ray. It's beautiful. It's a vibration. The wind is a vibration. The water is a vibration. The earth is a vibration. People have their own vibrations. And your body will tell you whose vibration is not right for you. And if you keep raising your vibration, you can't exist in that toxic reality that you want out of. So keep raising your vibration. Practice your affirmations. Connect with the mother. She has a lot to say. You see this tree? I love this tree. This is a black walnut tree. And my mom has asked me to gather some black walnuts because she has taken a remembrance to foraging. And I love that for her, because when I leave, when I get back to the coconuts, when I go home, I'll know my mom's home. I feel good with that. And everyone else, meet me in the vibration. Because if you are not in my frequency, we are not in alignment. And the matrix is not for me. And if you don't want the matrix to be for you, do your work. Be present. Be responsible. Question your answers. And then question those answers. And question them again. Like literally. Keep questioning them until you have a knowing. And when you know, be wise. Be wise in your actions. Be wise in your speech. Be wise in your presence. And come back to love. Because I love you. And you're beautiful. And call your power back. Yeah, that's my message for now. See you guys on the other side.